This is MLV Investments with an overview of the subscription documents for the Maxie's Henderson EB5 project. In this overview, we will identify which documents are required to subscribe to the EB5 fund and how EB5 investors should complete these documents. What are the subscription documents? They are the documents that link an EB5 applicant to the job-creating entity as required by the USCIS. For our project, these documents include the private placement memorandum, the subscription agreement, the operating agreement, the investor suitability form, a tax document called the W-8BEN, and wiring instructions for the initial investment. These documents will be given to the EB5 investor's immigration lawyer and included in their U.S. green card application. Where do the subscription documents fit in the EB5 green card application? The EB5 green card application is initiated through an I-526E petition filing. This petition is prepared by the investor's immigration lawyer and primarily focuses on three factors: an explanation of the EB5 investor's source of funds, proof of their connection to the job-creating entity, and a description of who the EB5 investor is. The USCIS has specific requirements for each of these factors, which is why a professional immigration lawyer is required. The wiring instructions are related to the source of funds explanation. The PPM, operating agreement, and subscription agreement connect the EB5 investor to the project, which is the job-creating entity. Each investor must provide identification documents, as well as a suitability form that verifies each investor is eligible to participate in a private placement offering. Lastly, the W-8BEN is a tax-related document the fund must provide to the IRS for each investor. The subscription documents only serve to link the investor to the EB5 project. Other documents are required to complete the I-526E green card petition. The EB5 investor's immigration lawyer will work with them to collect all necessary documents to complete the petition. Though the subscription documents are the same for every EB5 investor, each EB5 application will vary dependent on the EB5 investor's personal situation, and the documents required to complete the I-526E green card petition will vary for each EB5 investor. Taking a broader view of the process, the entire EB5 chain of participants are connected by various agreements. EB5 investors participate in the EB5 fund through the completion of the subscription documents and wiring of the subscription funds. The EB5 fund lends these proceeds to the project developer as evidenced and controlled by a loan agreement. The project developer then uses the EB5 loan to develop the project, and through the project development, create jobs, which is the key requirement of the EB5 green card petition. Investors will be provided with a subscription booklet, which contains all documents required for subscription to the EB5 fund. The completed booklet should be scanned and emailed to aaron@mlvinvestments.com. Additionally, the original copy of the booklet should be mailed to the office address listed on page 1 of the subscription agreement. We strongly encourage investors to complete 2 subscription booklets, one that is sent to our office and one for the investor to retain for their records. In addition to the subscription booklet, investors will be provided with a signatures guide. This guide shows exactly how to fill out the subscription booklet and contains the same content as this video. The first document that should be reviewed is the Private Placement Memorandum, or the PPM. It is an overview of the EB5 fund and its participation in the project. This is an important summary document. However, it does not require a signature. It briefly and clearly details what the project is, how it will create jobs to meet USCIS requirements, how the EB5 investor will participate in the fund, and how the EB5 fund will participate in the project. Investors should print their name at the top of the cover page and review this document before reviewing the other subscription documents. The next document to be reviewed is the operating agreement. This document provides a full legal explanation of the EB5 investor's participation in the EB5 fund. The document must be reviewed, and the signature is required. It details the EB5 investor's rights within the fund, the operations of the fund, and everything related to how the investor can enter and exit the fund. On page 23 of the operating agreement, the investor should fill out the address they would like to receive any mail from the fund manager, their phone number, and an active email to communicate with the fund manager. These spaces to fill out are indicated in green. They should also print their name and write the signature date as indicated in blue. The investor should sign their name as indicated in red. The section highlighted in gold is only for investors who are the age of 17 or younger. Minor investors require a parent or legal guardian to sign the documents in addition to the minor investor's signature. For an EB5 application, a parent could gift money to a child and have that child file a petition for themselves. Once the investor is accepted into the fund manager will countersign the operating agreement. The final document for review is the subscription agreement. This document legally binds the investor to the EB5 fund. Whereas the operating agreement details the investor's participation in the fund, the subscription agreement is the legal mechanism that ties the investor to the fund under the terms of the operating agreement. A signature is required. On page 12 of the subscription agreement, the investor should print their name and write in the signature date as indicated in blue. The investor should sign their name as indicated in red. Lastly, they should fill out the address they would like to receive any mail from the fund manager, their phone number, and an active email to communicate with the fund manager. These spaces to fill out are indicated in green. Again, the section highlighted in gold is only for investors who are the age of 17 or younger. The investor suitability form verifies each investor's eligibility to participate in a private placement offering, as is required by FINRA. On page 1, the investor should print their name as indicated in blue. In part 1, the investor should check the box that best matches their financial situation, as indicated in green. Only one box should be checked. This section cannot be left blank. On page 2, the investor must check the box in part B indicating they were not in the U.S. at the time of subscribing to the EB5 fund. This is required by FINRA. The only exception is if the investor were to sign the subscription documents in the U.S. with a broker-dealer. This, however, is very rare. Next, the investor must check the box in Part 2A. Only non-U.S. citizens can subscribe to the EB5 fund. In Part 2B, write the investor's current citizenship, as indicated in green. In Part 2C, write the country where the investor currently resides. For most investors, this will be the same country as their country of citizenship. On page 3, Part 2D, write the country where the subscription booklet was signed. Part 2E, write the country where the physical copy of the subscription booklet was provided. Part 2F, investors must check the box indicating the investor understands that the EB5 fund may pay fees to third parties in connection with their subscription to the fund. Lastly, on page 4, write the signature date and print the investor's name as indicated in blue. The investor should sign their name as indicated in red. The investor should write in their bank information as indicated in green. This is the bank the investor anticipates wiring the investment administrative fee from. The W-8BEN is a tax document that exempts the investor from tax withholding requirements. Though it is not required, it will make sure the investor does not have interest payments or other funds withheld for tax purposes. The investor should fill out the information in Part 1, items 1, 2, 3, and 8. At the bottom of the page, the investor must check or mark the box above the signature in the line that starts with the words, "I certify." Lastly, the investor should write down the current date in the format listed. The investor should print their name at the bottom of the page as indicated in blue. Finally, the investor should sign their name as indicated in red. The wiring instructions are provided in the subscription booklet and can also be found on page 2 of the subscription agreement. They tell the investor where to send their subscription funds and administrative fee. Each investor must wire $800,000 to the EB5 fund in order to meet USCIS requirements. The $800,000 figure is set by the USCIS. Each investor must also wire $80,000 to the second account indicated on the wiring instructions. This page does not need to be filled out. It is just for reference. Make sure to include the investor's full name in the note or memo section of the wire. After completing the subscription booklet, make a scanned copy of the subscription booklet. Mail the original signature booklet with signatures to the EB5 fund manager at the address listed on page 1 of the subscription agreement. The scanned copy should be emailed to aaron@mlvinvestments.com. Once the investment funds have been received and the subscription documents reviewed, the EB5 fund manager will determine if the investor will be accepted into the EB5 fund. The goal is always to only allow investors to move forward if they will be approved for the green card application. Once accepted, the EB5 fund manager will sign and email a copy of the acceptance page to the EB5 investor. The EB5 fund manager will also send a copy to the EB5 investor's immigration lawyer. If the EB5 investor's subscription to the fund is denied, the manager will notify the investor for the reason of being denied. The fund manager will request page 14 of the subscription agreement to be completed so that the capital contribution and administrative fee can be refunded to the investor in full. To review which documents to sign, on page 1 of the PPM, the investor should print their name. On page 23 of the operating agreement, the investor should fill out the information requested, print their name, and sign. On page 12 of the subscription agreement, the investor should fill out the information requested, print their name, and sign.
The investor should complete all 4 pages of the suitability form. On the last page, they should print their name and sign.
For the W-8BEN, the investor should fill out the information requested, print their name, and sign. Don't forget to check the box just above the signature. The investor should follow the wire instructions found on page 2 of the subscription agreement. Finally, email a scanned version of all documents to aaron@mlvinvestments.com.